know, Jack Kennedy has a lot to smile about. So do you, Jackie. How do you feel this morning?
Fine, thank you.
Jackie, I think probably being married to a senator would compare with being a doctor's wife, because a senator must be on call at all times, and you don't know what time he's coming home to dinner some of the time. Will you tell us about what some of the things are that you have to do?
Well, I suppose it is like being married to a doctor in that they have such late hours. They go away at a moment's notice, work late.
And you are alone a good deal of the time then?
Yes.
Except for the companions that you have. Do you feel that a senator's wife has to accompany him on most of his trips?
Well, I think as many as you can. But sometimes when it's going to a different place every night, it's rather difficult.
Yes, but otherwise, he probably needs your companionship as a sort of respite from the hard work, too, doesn't he, when he's away?
Well, I think it's nice to go with him when you can.
Now, are you at all interested in politics yourself?
Yes, I am.
In what way?
Well, how could you help but be interested in it if you're married to someone in it? You see it so closely.
Are you active in any political way with committees or anything like that, or is your job big enough just taking care of Jack?
I think
that's it. I don't blame you. Jackie is going to take us on that tour I told you about. Now we're going to look at some film that we took at the Kennedy home in Washington. And a lot of famous people live in this section of Georgetown, don't they, Jackie?
They do. Dean Acheson lives there, Senator Symington, the Alsop brothers.
And doesn't Connie Bennett have a house there?
Yes, and Myrna Lloyd.
Yes, So it's a little theatrical world and a little political world of its own. That dog is more powerful than you are.
He's terribly energetic. Look at him.
What is his name?
His name's Tippy, and he's a year old.
He seems very anxious to go on these errands with you. Does he know most of the tradespeople? I suppose he must by now.
Oh, he does. They all love him.
And do the heels run over on your shoes a lot? I know you do a lot of walking there with Tippy.
Yes, there I am at the shoemaker's.
They must all be very happy to see such a pretty girl come into the shop. Do you do this sort of routine every day?
Every
Jackie?
day in the morning, do all your errands.
Cleaners and dyers?
Yes, there.
Do you remember the name of him, or don't you recall it offhand?
I do, Mike.
And
then I'm taking one of Jack's suits to the cleaners.
I take it you don't press them yourself.
Well, I do sometimes.
Do you? But no friend goes with you on these errands, I noticed. Just Tippy, You up earlier than the other people?
Well, I suppose they're all doing the same thing.
It's so sort of desolate there this particular time, and I haven't seen anybody else on the street. Suppose they're all peeking out of windows watching you?
I hope not.
Is that a candle lighted in there?
That's an old gas lamp. Here we are at the playground. There, I let Tippy off the leash there.
He seems to make a dive for the children very fast. Is he fond of them?
Yes, he loves them. He licks them.
Is this a little community playground here where the children
This is a school for
I see.
Tiny children.
Is this part of his routine every day to go and call on the children?
I think so.
How long have you lived in Georgetown?
We lived there a year. In this house a year.
Do you miss New York? Or do you get up here quite often?
I come here sometimes. I really love Washington. I love living in Georgetown.
Now, this leads to what? Is that on
this
this side of Arlington?
Yeah. This is going back home now.
Have you 3 gables on your house?
No, that's not ours.
That's not yours. Oh, I see.
Here we go, being pulled along again. Oh, now we're going to the grocery store.
Are you on very good terms with the butcher?
Yes.
So that you get an extra special cut? Does he slip you a carrot?
He slips Tippy a piece of meat.
How are you at cooking, Jackie? You can tell us.
Well, fairly good. Nothing fantastic.
Very good with a can opener,
Yes.
Tippy's not carrying that package, I can see. There's a car. Georgetown's waking up.
Now we're going home. It's the door of our house.
We visited a house when we were in Washington. Mrs. McCook Knox, I think her name was. She had some marvelous old American things.
Oh, some of them are so pretty, you know. Put the groceries in the kitchen.
Was this all decorated when you
Yes,
left the
it was.
house?
And this is later, letting the dog out.
Your life is really wrapped around that dog when Jack isn't around.
Oh, he's used to the country. He doesn't like living in the city much.
This is the backyard or garden?
Yes. Almost all the houses there have a
Yes.
garden.
That looks like a comfortable room. Lots of good books.
There.
And
Record
records.
on.
Do you have favorites?
Not really. I could play one and then get sick of it. Now Jack's come home.
No. I notice you're extremely brighter in this shop. Do you fix his breakfast for him?
Yes.
Coffee? Mm-hmm. What does he do? Does he tell you what goes on his trips when he comes back?
I mean, at breakfast, he usually reads about 7 papers and runs out the door. There he is with the door.
He likes Jack, too, huh? That's a lovely shot. But he is describing something to you. Now, he's not reading the paper there, is he?
No, he's talking to me there.
You do talk to her sometimes, don't you, Senator?
I do, all the time.
And enjoy it, I'm sure.
We do.
You came so close to getting the Democratic nomination. I must say it was an exciting election, an exciting convention. How do you feel about the prestige and the importance that is now being placed on the office of the Vice President? Is it a good thing, do you think?
Oh, I do. As you know, Arlene, under the Constitution, the Vice President's only job is to vote in case of ties, but we only have a tie maybe once a year, so that doesn't give him much responsibility. But in the last few years, he's been given greater responsibility, and I think it's a good thing. He may be called upon to succeed to the presidency at any time, and therefore I think that it's very good that he have that his responsibilities become closer to that of the president, even though, of course, the final responsibility must be the president's. So I think it is fine.
Do you feel that it has happened mostly during this particular administration because the president hasn't been able to make so many trips?
Well, I think as our responsibilities become more worldwide, then I think that the job of the president, of course, is an almost impossible one. I think Harry Truman said it was impossible, and that therefore I think that any way that he can ease his burden, I think the vice president's trip to Africa was a good idea as a personal representative of the president. So I think it's very valuable, and I think it will continue regardless of who is the president.
I noticed before you said there were 5 senators you had to choose, and that Mr. Truman said there were 70-odd.
Well, I know. He feels it's an impossible. It's like the 5 greatest ball players, the 5 best cooks, or anything. So
what a difficult task it is. This has really been a very special visit with both of you this morning, one that all of us on home are going to remember with a great deal of pleasure, and we learned quite a lot about politics as a career and the advantages and drawbacks. Senator Kennedy, I wonder, will you sum up what you feel young people should think about if they are contemplating politics as their future?
Well, Arlene, I think this is a serious time in the life of our country, perhaps the most serious, and we're in a great struggle for survival with the Soviet Union, and we have many great problems here at home. But I think that if all of us recognize that we have responsibilities as well as rights and duties as well as privileges, especially in a country like the United States where we, all of us, have the final responsibility for whatever action we take. If we recognize that we've been given a great country and that we've been most fortunate, and that if all of us practice the virtues of good citizenship and self-restraint, which I think we can do and which we have done through our history, then I think we can look forward to the future, all of us, young and old, office holders and citizens, with a good deal of confidence and hope.